So the idea for the 30-day ruck is to live super intentionally for a 30-day period where you are actively, weekly putting energy into each of the 4 fires.
Welcome to the 4 Fires Podcast, where we talk about winning in all 4 of the essential areas of life.
Welcome to the 4 Fires Podcast. This is Jeff Rice, and today we're going to be talking about what the 30-day ruck really is. We've talked about the 30-day ruck a little bit in some past episodes, but we haven't really done a deep dive into all the details, so I just wanted to record this podcast so that you all can have a better understanding of what it is. Also wanted to take a second right here and say that the 30-day ruck right now is only for men, so any ladies out there listening, sorry, but for now, the ruck is only for men. So the 30-day ruck is a 30-day intensive program that Alan and I have developed, I'd say, over the last year and a half, maybe. Alan, of course, officially started it and created it, thought of the idea, and then I've helped along the way, produce it. So the 30-day ruck is a 30-day intensive program that serves as a tactical guide for living a 4-dimensional life. Of course, it's based around the 4 Fires philosophy, and it's a great tool to help you start improving the 4 fires and the 4 essential areas of your life. So it's going to start out when you sign up for the ruck. We'll send you the 30-day ruck prep week. And now the prep week, of course, is what it sounds like. It could actually be called the prep 2 week because there's quite a few tasks and things, meetings and things that you have to schedule for the 30-day ruck. But the prep week is for you to prepare yourself in each of the 4 fires. So there's going to be tasks and things to think about and prepare for your physical fire. Same thing for your people fire, for your purpose fire, and for your professional fire. And then the 30-day ruck is going to start with a 48-hour fast. And some people might ask, why do we need to do a fast? Well, there's 2 things that I think we get out of doing a fast, and that is fasting was created by God. The reason for fasting is for a God-centered purpose. So you should be identifying something in your life that needs prayer or that you would like to have, help with from God, something that you want to change. And then while you're fasting, every time you get the feeling of hunger, that should be a reminder that, oh yeah, that's why I'm fasting. And so then you shouldn't sit there and sulk and be like, oh, I'm so hungry, how long until this is over? That should be a reminder to pray for the thing that you are fasting for. Another thing is a 48-hour fast is difficult, and it requires a lot of self-control, and it prepares you for the ruck because the ruck is difficult. It prepares your mental toughness, some physical toughness, just prepares you mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally, for the journey that you're about to embark on. So with the 30-day ruck, there's going to be, each week, there'll be a list of tasks that you're going to commit to do in each of the 4 fires. And depending on whether you choose level 1, level 2, or level 3, there will be more or fewer tasks each week. Of course, level 1 is the easiest 30-day ruck, level 2 is a little bit more tough, and level 3 is the toughest. With that, there will also be a list of abstentions that you're going to commit to abstain from. So a list of things that you're going to commit to not do for the 30 days. And those 5 things are, you're going to commit to no social media for the 30 days, no alcohol for the 30 days, no video. And what we mean by video is TV, YouTube, Netflix, video games, anything like that that's just mind-numbing, wasted time. You don't have time for that during the 30-day ruck because that time needs to be filled with all of the other tasks that you're committing to do. The 4th thing is no pornography for 30 days. Pornography puts a wedge in between you and God. And if you're married, it puts a wedge between you and your wife. Even if you're dating, it puts a wedge between you and your girlfriend, or if you're engaged, you and your fiance. There's all kinds of study. I'm not going to explain it right now, but there's all kinds of information out there of why pornography is bad. And the fifth thing is sexual activity outside of your marriage. If you're married, sex is encouraged. When you sign up for the 30-day Ruck, in addition to us sending you your prep week and you getting all of those things ready, we're also going to send you a packet. So you will get a Ruck pack, which is a military-style looking backpack, and you'll also get a 30-day Ruck workbook, and that workbook will have all of the tasks that you're going to be committing to for each week of the 30 days of the 4 weeks. You'll also be getting 3 4-fire self-assessments. The reason that you'll be getting 3 is because 2 of them you'll fill out for yourself, one at the beginning of the Ruck, one at the end. And the third one will be filled out by your spouse. And if you're not married, that third one can be filled out by someone that you trust, someone that you would want to get feedback from, and they'll tell you kind of where they think you stand right now in the 4 fires, which is actually a very interesting and beneficial exercise if you'll be open to receive oftentimes criticism from someone else. You'll get a 4 fires journal or a notebook for you to be able to do your note-taking and journaling, and a lot of the tasks require you to write things in your Ruck journal, so that's something that you'll need. You'll also get 2 PFL marriage assessments, and these assessments, the PFL stands for Partnership, Friendship, and Lover, and this is, of course, meant for your marriage. And you take one and you rate what you think where your marriage stands on partnership, and it gives a good explanation there. Friendship and lover, and then your spouse will do the same thing, and it's very interesting to hear from your spouse about where they think the health of the relationship is. And the funny thing with a PFL assessment is I can't tell my wife that we have a good marriage if she thinks we don't. If she thinks that we don't have a good marriage, if Rachel feels like we don't have a good friendship, then we don't have a good friendship. I can't just tell her that we don't have, or that we have a good friendship. So it's a super interesting exercise if you go into it with an open mind and an open heart, and you're willing to accept the things that your spouse says. So super good assessment. And then, of course, if you get your results back from your spouse, or you give your results to your spouse, and either of those have a low number on the assessment, that, of course, is where you should put some of your effort. One of the final parts to the Ruck pack, or the Ruck packet, is we have a 30-day Ruck patch, and this is something that you will not get unless you complete the Ruck fully. So if you, at the end of the 30-day Ruck, if you can say with confidence and integrity that you abstained from the abstentions that you committed to, and you completed all of the tasks, minus the 2 mulligans over the 30 days that we've allotted to give each participant. And when I say 2 mulligans, what we mean by that is if you have a week where you miss a task or you miss 2 tasks, you get two mulligans. You get to carry that one task over to the next week to make sure that you complete it. It doesn't mean that you can miss a task and never complete it. It means, I messed up this week, I didn't do that task, so I'm going to do this task next week. So that's what we mean when we say 2 mulligans. If you can say with confidence and integrity that you've done those 2 things and that you have 100% completed the 30-day Ruck, we will send you the 30-day Ruck patch, which if you click the link in the description, you'll be able to see images of that. So pretty cool. One of the things in the 30-day Ruck that brings the most value is the weekly Zoom call. The weekly Zoom call, of course, is a call for every participant that's going through the Ruck and the facilitator, all to come together at one time to be able to have good conversations, good discussions, laugh, and maybe have some deep conversations. The weekly Zoom call is so good because this is the place where the community is built. This is the place where guys feel like they really get to know each other and they can relate to each other and the things that they're struggling with. I mean, I can remember it feels so good to hear from another man when he, if he says something about like, oh man, the praying at night before bed with my spouse was pretty awkward because I haven't done that in so long. But man, it really has. I feel like it's improved my relationship with me and my wife. And if maybe I had the same situation and I was like, man, that was awkward for me too. Like, but I feel like it's awesome and it's improving my relationship. Like, I don't know, it's just really cool to be able to hear from the other guys and the things that they're going through, whether they're good or bad. So the weekly Zoom call will be for accountability also. So that's when we check in, and that'll be a time when each participant will have to choose whether they want to be honest or not and say, this week I completed all the tasks, or this week I totally screwed up and I didn't complete 6 of the tasks. And so I've now failed the ruck. So there's a lot of accountability there, and there's also, we always do a group text throughout the week, and so that we can kind of stay in touch with each other throughout the week, so it's not a whole week and then all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, I didn't do anything this week. And another thing that adds value to the 30-day ruck is there'll be a Google Sheet that will be sent out each week, and this also, in addition to the 30-day ruck workbook that has all the lists, that has the list of all the tasks, the Google Sheet will have a list of all the tasks. And the point of the Google Sheet is, if you have any experience with Google Sheets, you share a document with a group of people, and everybody that the document is shared with can see everything that everybody's editing. So on the Google Sheet, every participant will have their own sheet that has all of their tasks on there, and for each individual task, every participant is required to put a grade once on a scale of 1 to 10 on how well they completed that task. So we all know if you go to the gym and you exercise, you know whether you crushed it that day and whether you gave full effort or whether you just went in there and picked up the 10-pound dumbbells and did some curls and walked out. And then so that is a great way to create accountability for yourself, because you know that you have to give yourself a grade, and accountability from others because you know that you put that grade in there and everyone else is going to see it. There's also a column to leave a description if you'd like, which is just a great way to kind of manage what you're doing. After hearing all of this and thinking about the 30-day ruck and what it is, you may be thinking, okay, yeah, that sounds cool, but do I really need to do it? People may ask, what do you get out of the ruck, or why should I do the ruck or care about living 4-dimensionally? For me personally, what I got out of the ruck is that it's difficult, but so is succeeding in every area of life. And the thing that I found was making myself do difficult things is very good and can help me in every area of life. For me personally, I want to do hard things because when I do hard things daily, the hard things seem easier. Another reason why the 30-day ruck and living a 4-dimensional life is so important and why you should do the ruck is because the real beneficiaries of the results that I get from doing the ruck and choosing to live 4-dimensionally are my wife, my future kids, my friends, and my future grandkids. You may have heard this story on some of the other podcasts, but I want to share it again just because it's an amazing story. There was a guy who was going through a 4-Fire small group with Justin Lambert, who's been on the podcast before, and the guy filled out his 4-Fires assessment at the beginning of that small group, and he scored a 26 out of 80 is what he scored himself. And of course the score is out of 80 because there's 4 fires. Each fire has 2 subcategories, and each subcategory is a scale of 1 to 10. So the guy went through this small group with Justin, and I'm not sure if it was 8 months or 6 months or a year that they did this small group. But at the end of the small group, the guy scored himself a 76 out of 80. And I like to imagine how my future children's lives can be different, whether they're raised by Jeff, who is a 26 out of 80, or Jeff, who is a 76 out of 80. Then I have to ask myself the question, am I okay with my kids being raised by a 26 out of 80 rather than a 76 out of 80? And of course the answer is absolutely not. So that's why the 30-day ruck is such a great tool, just to get you started, just to give you an idea, and a lot of times bring a lot of awareness of maybe you're not doing as good as you think you are. And of course I'm speaking from experience. I'm not pointing fingers out here. I realized how good I wasn't doing while I first tried to attempt the ruck. Before we go, I wanted to talk about the next 30-day ruck that begins on May 5th. There's only 3 slots still available, so if you want to sign up and see what this is all about, then send me an email at jeff@leadadvisors.org. If you want to hear more about the 30-day ruck, click the link in the description and go check out episode 3 of the Four Fires podcast to hear about the experience David Brooks had and what he got out of the 30-day ruck. There will also be a link in the description with all of the information about the 30-day ruck if you're interested in participating and would like to learn more. And one last thought on the 30-day ruck. The goal of the 30-day ruck is to give you an experience of how rewarding living a 4-dimensional life can be. The goal is not to make you, make your life miserable, and the goal is not to make you feel like a failure if you fail to complete a task. However, we are looking for extreme commitment and intentionality from all participants. We understand that completing the number of tasks in levels 2 and 3 for each of the 4 fires every week for the remainder of your life is just simply unrealistic. However, if you take just a few of the tasks from each of the fires and commit to doing those few tasks on a regular basis for the rest of your life, think about the impact that can have on you and the people around you. Having a successful 4-dimensional life is not about the intensity of which you do these things, but it's about consistency. So go live intentionally, and we'll catch you on the next episode of the Four Fires podcast.